So here we are, a few days after Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni met the media for the end of the season press conference. And surprisingly, they gave strong words saying that Jalen Hurts is the Eagles quarterback moving forward for the 2022 season. But should we take them at their word? Are they honestly telling the truth? I have my doubts. And the main reason I say I have my doubts is the Eagles have played this kind of game before. They've said in the past, we expect to be very active, and they haven't been. And in other years, they say, we don't expect to be very active. They go out and sign every free agent possible. So it's for the Eagles, at least in seeing them operate in the past, always expect the unexpected. They say they're going to do one thing, expect something different. A great example is last year, when the Eagles were talking about, after the tough 2020 season, there's a lot of questions on whether Carson Wentz would be back as the Eagles quarterback. And at the time, the Eagles were saying, yeah, Carson's our guy. We'd love to have him back. We want him to be the guy, We want this, we want that. And then, after they hired Nick Sirianni, a few weeks later, they end up trading Carson Wentz to the Indianapolis Colts and taking one of the largest dead cap hits in NFL history. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's actually the largest. But they said one thing, they did something different. And this very well could be a similar situation. Now, listening to their press conference, they seem to have said everything right. They gave Jalen Hurts a ton of praise because he did a lot of good things this year. He showed leadership. He showed a lot of poise. He showed improvement throughout the season. Now, he's far from being a finished product, but he showed you a lot of growth, which is good to see. Along with that, the Eagles acknowledge that they're not where they want to be right now. They are still multiple pieces away from being a team that can compete. And they said it themselves. They want to be a team that's hosting home playoff games and that has a bye. They want to be a team that's going to consistently be a number one seed. And if they want to do that quickly, well, one of the easiest things to do is to improve the quarterback situation. And whether you like Jalen Hurts or don't like Jalen Hurts, the fact of the matter is I think everyone can agree he still has a lot of room to grow. And it is possible for him to improve and get better. We've seen quarterbacks greatly improve over the years. One example is, because granted he's played for almost 20 plus years, is Tom Brady. You look at Tom Brady's tape from the early 2000s to now, he's not the same quarterback. He makes a lot more reads based on precision. He has a lot more arm strength. Back then he didn't have the same physical abilities he does now. Along with the fact he already knows all the answers to the test. Playing the NFL 20 plus years, you're going to know every defense you see. And back then, in the early 2000s, he didn't have all that information. So there is room for improvement the longer you play. The question is with Jalen, is he going to have the time to develop into that? Or, if he does have the time, if he's even capable of becoming an efficient starting quarterback. And that's a big question. Whether he can or can't may not be an issue for the Eagles, because in this offseason coming up, there are going to be a lot of quarterbacks available. And just a gut feeling, especially after seeing the results of the divisional round, I got a funny feeling that the Eagles are going to go and try and hit the iron while it's hot and go out and try and get one of these elite quarterbacks. Last year, we saw Tom Brady leave the New England Patriots, play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and lead them to a Super Bowl. We even saw this year, the LA Rams ditched Jared Goff, sent him to Detroit, got Matthew Stafford out of it, and then Stafford just went ahead and led the Rams on a win against the Buccaneers, beating Tom Brady. So there's been some examples of quarterbacks leaving teams and coming to a new team and completely turning them around. Before Brady, Tampa Bay was a 500 team. They had a lot of those same pieces. All they needed was Tom Brady. And the Rams, they had won playoff games with Jared Goff, but Jared Goff was never really the reason why they won. They were always supported by Todd Gurley or that great run defense. Jared Goff never really took the job like the Rams would have liked, and it's why they ditched him. So now the Eagles are in a unique position. They have a ton of draft capital. They're going to have about $30 to $50 million in money to spend in free agency this season. And there's probably going to be a lot of quarterbacks who are going to be available. Russell Wilson, we've heard about the trade rumors with him. Derek Carr, there's uncertainty with him and his situation. Baker Mayfield, we know about the struggles he's had with the Browns this season. Aaron Rodgers, we saw how his season ended recently with the Green Bay Packers. Is he going to want to go back there? Jimmy Garoppolo, he led the Niners to the NFC Championship game. He might be a guy that's available as well. And then there's also Deshaun Watson. If he gets his legal stuff clear, he's going to be one of the top guys on the market. And I'm sure there might be another guy that we're not considering right now that may become available. But are the Eagles going to be able to resist the temptation to go out and get themselves a quarterback? And that's the real question. In their core philosophy for the Philadelphia Eagles, and this is something that comes down from Jeffrey Lurie, they want the Eagles, how they would see their team, they want to have a top 10 offense. They want to have one of the best offenses in the NFL. And that usually starts at the quarterback position. When you have a great quarterback, you win. I mean, look through history. Montana, Young, Marino, even Brady, Peyton Manning. All those teams had some of the best offenses in the league, and they're always at the top competing. And that is something the Philadelphia Eagles look for. Now, they say they're committed to Jalen Hurts, but the simple truth right now is Jalen Hurts makes them a good offense because he can run. And the thing that stops the Eagles from being as efficient as they can be is Jalen Hurts' inability to read defenses. There was a soundbite during the wildcard game where the Tampa Bay coaches were saying, he can't read defenses. We can do what we want. Go after him. And they did. They embarrassed the Eagles. And look, simple fact is Tampa Bay is a more talented team than the Eagles. It's simple as that. They're more talented. They got better players. It's simple as that. But there were plays to be made, and Jalen Hurts didn't have his best day. Now, he can go ahead and learn from this. He can get better, he can improve, and he can develop. There's no reason why he can't, as long as he's willing to put in the work and the time in order to do it. The question is, are the Eagles going to be patient enough to allow him to develop? And honestly, seeing some of the playoff games unfold this week, and especially since we're going to have an NFC Championship game with a quarterback who was recently traded for, and last year was a Super Bowl championship team that a quarterback was recently traded for, that seems to be a trend. There's probably going to be a lot of teams looking at the opportunity to bring in an elite level quarterback. Now, I'm not talking like a Derek Carr or Jimmy Garoppolo. They're going to shoot for Rodgers. They're going to go and shoot for Russell Wilson. And if Deshaun Watson's available, he might be the holy grail out of all of them. And like I said, especially if his legal stuff is clear, he could very well be the holy grail. Because it's rare for a quarterback at his age, being as young as he is, to become available. But as much as the Eagles touted, praised, said all the good things in the world about Jalen Hurts, I just got a feeling in my gut that says they're lying. As much as they like Jalen Hurts, they say he's a good guy, he's a leader, he's this, I have a feeling if they have the opportunity to go out and get one of these elite quarterbacks, they'll do it in a heartbeat. Because to be fair, if it comes to trading for one of these quarterbacks, nobody can outbid the Eagles. If the Eagles want somebody, they can go get them. They got 3 ones in this year's draft alone. And a lot of teams, they're not going to be able to compete with that. They're basically going to have to give up. If the Eagles offer 3 ones for any of these quarterbacks, I'd say they're almost guaranteed to get them. Because another team will have to give up their first-round pick for the next 3 years to even come close, or an elite player. And are they going to want to do that? That's debatable. It's going to come down to that organization making that decision. The question for the Eagles is, are they comfortable paying that type of price? As they said in their own admission, they're not good enough right now. But they could justify themselves saying, well, if we go get a quarterback that can make these throws, we're good enough to be a number 1 seed right now. And those are probably the conversations that could be happening in the NovaCare complex right now. The Eagles scouts, coaches, owner, GM could all be debating on whether could this be a possibility. If we have the opportunity, should we do it? The last time before Brady, this type of quarterback came available, and maybe you can make an argument the Eagles could have been looking for a quarterback, was probably Peyton Manning. This was after Michael Vick had his resurgent season and coming back and playing at a really high level. Maybe the Eagles could have sat there and said, we like Vick, but how can you pass up Peyton Manning? Which, most likely Peyton wasn't going to pick the Eagles because he never wanted to play against Eli. Like, the only way they wanted to play each other would have been a Super Bowl. So the likelihood of the Eagles being able to convince Peyton Manning at the time was nil. There wasn't an opportunity. But Aaron Rodgers, he may not have that type of issue. Russell Wilson, he may not have that type of issue. Same goes for Deshaun Watson and some of these other guys. This could be an opportunity for the Philadelphia Eagles to get themselves one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. And are they going to be able to say no to that and say, we want to develop our young guy right now? I don't think they're going to be able to resist it. Knowing this team, knowing the mentality they have, knowing what the owner wants and how he wants his team constructed, I think the Eagles are going to go ahead and try and make a push for a quarterback, especially since this appears to be a trend happening in the NFL. But that's just my opinion, and we'll see what happens. It's early in the offseason. We don't even know who's going to win the Super Bowl yet. But this is going to be a fun offseason. I can't wait to see what happens, and I can't wait to cover it as well. So, with that, I want to thank you all for listening to the Process YouTube channel. If you like what I got to say, please hit the like button. If you agree or disagree with what I got to say, please say so in the comment section below. And with that, I'll catch you all later. Peace.